Welcome to Sharing in the Mindsets here, right live at Daryl King team. I want to welcome my good guest and good friend, Rob Vivian. Right? Thank you. It's an honor to have someone come in, that's been a good friend for 30 years and, that we follow a fair bit. A number of the team members are being coached by him right now. So let's just talk about Rob Vivian is one of Canada's leading real estate business coaches with more than 30 years of coaching experience and 38 years in the real estate industry. Not bad for 29 years of age, eh? So he has helped hundreds of realtors, I would say thousands probably, across Canada grow their business through practical strategies, accountability, which I mentioned earlier about being accountable, guys, proven systems, and mindset coaching, tailored specifically to the Canadian real estate market. Rob is known for inspiring agents to achieving lasting success, both personally and professionally. So let's give him a big hand. Right? How are you doing, Rob?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you.
How was your drive in from the great north?
Well, I brought my beautiful wife with me today.
I know,
so
thank God.
Right? People wonder if maybe I'm just good at sales now, but 43 years ago, 4 days and 21 hours ago, I talked her into marrying me. So I must have been good at sales for a while.
How many years?
43, 4 days and 21 hours. Doesn't everybody keep track? I thought everybody did.
Guys, if you can keep track of things like that, it's important. You'll go a long way, right? You'll last another 43 years, right?
I would hope so.
Hi, Colleen. So we're excited today. We're going to do a little more free form. I'll ask them some questions, but we'll probably just get off into a tangent, which me and him normally get into. So, we look at things now. We were just talking, Maxine, you and me, a little bit about, in the 1990s, people think the market is so challenging now. It's not really that bad. The problem that I see is people were spoiled when you had COVID years and things were flying off the shelves quicker than you get them up there. So now they're not flying off the shelves so quickly and they think it's a bad market. To me, this is one of the great market for the greatest of opportunities for buyers and sellers alike, right? And investors. So, if you look at interest rates have been held steady now for the last number of months. And I don't think they're going to budge them anytime soon, up or down. So that stability on that end of it is just what I see as people believing in all the things and the lack of confidence that they hear that transpires out there that frightens people, right? What's your thoughts here on what's going on right now?
Before I answer that, because we're going to talk about the brain today.
Okay, right? Good.
So I want to just talk a little bit about the power of the brain. I mean, the real estate world, when I do talks and I ask the group, do you believe in the law of attraction? Do you believe you become what you think about? The power of your brain. It's a resounding yes, but I usually say, I don't think so, which makes them wonder why I asked that question. It's just that the power of the brain is, I would not say unlimited, but it's massive. But I observe that realtors, they operate like they don't know that the law of attraction is a thing. They think they have to prove their worth all the time. And so the brain it weighs 3 pounds, yet it requires 20% of your energy to run of your body, 20% for something that weighs 3 pounds. In the brain, there are about 84 billion neurons. And each of those neurons are interacting with other neurons, creating magic or creating despair, whatever you're programming it to do. And so they're estimated that the 84 billion neurons are connected to each other about 4 quadrillion connections. That's 1,000 trillion connections in the brain. There's so many connections and neurons in the brain that if you took a grain of sand, which I need reading glasses. Do you wear reading glasses? Okay, I do, which would mean if I had a grain of sand in my palm, Because I need reading glasses, I don't think I could see it.
Not many people could.
But maybe not. But that grain of sand, if you had a piece of the brain that size, it would have 1,000 neurons in it. There's so much going on in the brain. And so the question you asked about, and what you and Maxine and I were talking about, whenever you have realtors got licensed, when Moses came down the mountain with those tablets, one of them was our license. Probably the one they broke.
Probably.
And so you're talking about the market. And so what Maxine and I were talking about is, I guess as time goes by, the amount of realtors licensed in 1990 would be getting smaller. But in my 40 years, actually this year, I got licensed 87. So in year 40, the biggest fall in the market was 1990, where the market dropped 40% in 1 year. And the mood of the realtors at that point were that, I guess it's the buyer's turn. That's how we all thought. So we all just kept on going, making sales, doing a few extra open houses, and making more buyer sales. The mood of the realtor was fine. I did a big event a couple of weeks ago. You were there. And I had said to the group, which I'm saying a lot as I'm speaking around now, that in my 40 years, I've never seen the realtor brain as troubled as it is today. And I know why, which is your question. I just want to talk about the brain a bit, because we're going to talk about that today. I mean, I don't know if you're going to ask your questions or not, probably not. So you can probably talk. I understand that. Not my first time with you. But the mood of the country is that one that is negative right now. And it's starting at the top and works its all way down to the bottom. And the way the brain works is it just follows. So it doesn't matter if you consider yourself, as far as your spiritual faith, Christian or Muslim or Buddhist or Hindu, the four big or whatever, everybody is referred to as sheep. Because I grew up on a farm. Trust me, sheep are the easiest creature by a country mile to lead. That's why we're referred there. And as people, we're easy to lead. So I happen to vote conservative, not that I'm overly political, but my guy can't start a talk this day and age without saying the country's broken. Country's broken. And that gets in people's head. And the opposition can't start a talk without saying in these desperate times, or in these troubled times, or in these dangerous times. And so our leaders at the top are saying that a lot. And then the media is saying that. And then people, the sheep, are saying that. And so this year, since that's been the narrative in the market, when I go speak at offices, the manager or broker almost always introduces me with those words by saying, Rob's here to help us through these troubled times. Rob's here to help us through these desperate times. Rob's here to help us through these challenging times. And then I smile, because I'm very versed in psychology, and I'm realizing what's happening is that narrative is filtering its way down to reality. And so the truth is, I mean, when we hear that we're in these desperate times and these challenging times, that makes me feel like we're trying to be fed a message that, 9/11, the Afghan war, the Afghanistan war, the Syrian war, they're all happening at one time here. The truth is they're not. So the most desperate time as a realtor would have been 1990.
Oh, without a doubt.
And we were fine. Maxine, we were fine. We just went and sold more buyers. Right now, your question about the market is I am a firm believer that 2027 will return back to 70-something thousand sales next year. And I believe we're on that runway right now. But most are missing it because of the mindset that they're allowing themselves to get into. If you look at the last 4 months, complete months, April, May, June, and July, 4 months, the GTA, which is your marketplace, there was 25,300 sales in those 4 months. If you times that by 3, that's 76,000. This going back to 70+ thousand sales. The runway started, I think, 4 months ago. Yet, as I go places, I'm constantly asked by realtors, when do you think the market's going to improve? April. The first quarter was slow, only 11,000 sales. When's the market going to improve? April. We've been on a 25,000 plus pace. We've been on a 76,000 pace
Since April.
since April. But to the thing is, psychology will override reality. That's a fact. And so when we're fed a steady diet of trouble, we believe that, and then that overrides reality. So, and as we're going to talk about the brain today, because I do want to do that.
Absolutely.
So, I said to a group in, I think it was March. I was all the talks I did before the second quarter, that this quarter coming up, we're going to have 18 or 19,000 sales to GTA. That's what I was saying. We had 19,300. But I told the group that the power of the brain, if it's in a troubled state, like our country's broken, we live in troubled times, whatever message you're getting from whatever you vote or whatever the leaders of our country, is I was telling everyone that for a realtor, because 19,300, that's addresses. Each of those is two sites.
Two sides, 38.
So it's 38.6. And I was telling audiences that a small task or a simple task for your brain would be to go 0 for 38,000. To go an entire quarter with 38,000 sales in your marketplace, you miss them all. That is a very easy task for the brain. It's also an easy task to beat on them. That would also be an easy task. So that's what I feel about the market. It was a long answer to your question.
It's a good answer because, when he showed up, we celebrated Maria's 1-year anniversary at his event. She did some great things. She was the #1 prospector. So, it's what you program here is what you create out there. So, he talks about the leaders throwing out a negative image, and it puts your country in a negative image. So the law of attraction, I've been so tuned into that for so long. And you can change anything you want to change, and you can accomplish anything you want to accomplish. But the first thing starts right up here, right between the ears. If you can believe you can do it, you can do it. If you believe you can't do it, you can't do it. That's simple. So like I said, yesterday I had, a 13 or 14-hour day. I haven't had one of those in a long time. I absolutely loved it. But I was going to do whatever it took to have a great day and not let the market dictate what my day is going to be. So, if you set yourself up for success, it starts the night before you go to bed, right? So what are you listening to, or what is in your brain before you're going to go into alpha state, go to sleep, right? Because you're going to sleep better if you're thinking positive things. If you're thinking troubled things, you're not going to sleep too well at night. And if you're not sleeping too well at night, how are you going to wake up in the morning? So don't let a bad day create a second bad day. You need to have closure, right? What is done is done. Figure out how you can fix it, and then reprogram yourself as quickly as possible, right? Like I went to go see that Mulsi Indy race here, some of it, and there was lots of, there's always crashes and upsets and whatever. So Paulo, who's leading the IndyCar thing, he ended up crashing. He was just doing unbelievable. He crashed, so he had to start at the back of the pack. But he worked his way up. He ended up getting fourth. But because his mind was so strong, he didn't give up. So where do we give up? We give up probably before we start. And that's why you think of 84 thoughts in your brain every day, or 64 thoughts in your brain every day. It's your brain is like bigger than a computer. Like so many things are going on in there. So what are you actually putting in? What are you feeding it? It's like if I want to lose weight, I just had some of that cake. Shouldn't have, but I couldn't help myself, right? So there's things that
did look pretty good.
You'll try it out.
I will.
Right?
And I won't worry about my weight.
You'll work it up. So what happens is you're going to have temptation every single day. And the easy route is to be like everybody else. Remember that sheep herd mentality? Be like that black sheep. So you got a whole herd of white sheep. be that black sheep, stand out, step out, get away from the pack, right? The only way you're going to survive and to succeed is step away from the mainstay. So I've always beat to my own drum, and I was going to beat to my own drum. And it's done me well because of it. So it will do you well also to do that same thing. So that's why me and him are great friends, because we think so much alike. We have so many beliefs that are similar that, you know, I'm not going to have someone come in here and tell them things that I don't want you to know. Listen, if you guys sign up to his coaching, I'm happy because I know what he's going to teach you. It's so inspiring. He has a 5 o'clock wake up call.
5:30.
5:30.
Don't get me up earlier.
Okay, sorry. So they have a 5:30 wake up call, and say the rooster goes off and they get the message. Then they have an 8:30, which I think it's a round table, like on Zoom, and there are a bunch of them on there, right? So they're talking about positive, inspiring things. They're not saying, no, it's freaking everything, you know. What do you feed them at 8:30?
Okay, so first of all, the 8:30 is a wake up call. 8:50 is what we're talking about. I'm gonna talk about the program later.
Okay.
I want to expand on what you said about you become what you think about it. What you put in, you get out. So
100%.
I think we all know that, yes. But I think if we can understand how that works in the brain, you're way more likely to leverage that in a positive way. And I can explain it simply. It's the Ford. If you think you can, or you can't, right? But I mean, to know that, but if you don't know how to leverage it, don't know how it works, then you're not going to be able to do that. So the way the brain works is it is 10% conscious mind, 10%, and 90% subconscious, which is where that saying comes from. You only use 10% of your brain, which is not true. Use 10% of it consciously, but use all of your brain. Your subconscious mind is far more active than your conscious mind. So the thing about the 90% of your subconscious mind, it's a neutral operating system. It can't think or rationalize or think logically. Only the conscious mind can do that. So the subconscious mind can only create or attract what it's told to do. And it doesn't have a compass. It doesn't know right from wrong, good from bad, or moral from immoral. If you feed it immoral thoughts, you will be going down an immoral path, and it won't know it's harming you. It's a neutral operating system. And so for business people, if you put in positive thoughts from the conscious mind into the subconscious mind, then it will activate the law of attraction. There's no gray area here. So if a realtor was to be thinking about the positive, because if you think about the market, I don't know, other than myself and Daryl and Maxine, who else has been licensed for 100 years here, but I know we have. And so the time as you pass through your career, there's always two markets. There's never one. There's always two. There's the what's going on that's positive and what's going on that we're perceived as not positive. There's always two. And if the realtor brain focuses on the positive right now, that would be, well, we've been on the mid-70s path for sales since April 1st. We'll likely continue that runway right into next year. Interest rates have been good for all year and are staying there. The inventory is about 4,000 less this year on the same day last year. If the brain was to focus on those things, those would be positive. That'd be positive thoughts about the market, which are truthful, into the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind would activate the law of attraction and bring business to you. The other side is if a brain was to focus on the issues that are going on, geopolitical issues on the planet, which, by the way, right now, about 93% of the people are on that. And that means that those 93% would be putting negative into the subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind would then activate the law of repelling, the opposite to the law of attraction, the law of repelling. And so that's where the saying comes from. If you think you can, you can. You think you can't, you can't. It's not that it'll be hard. You can't. Like every superhero movie, there's a superhero, but you also have to have a villain. You can't have a superhero without a villain. The villain is required. And in the brain, the law of repelling, the pushing all the good things away from you. is the villain, and the law of attraction is the superhero. And the operating system is a neutral format. It doesn't prefer success. It doesn't prefer failure. It doesn't prefer the law of attraction. It doesn't prefer the law of repelling. It would have to have the ability to reason or rationalize in order to be able to have a preference, which you cannot do. It's just a computer. It's a neutral operating system. It has the power to bring everything to you, all your goals, dreams, and aspirations, law of attraction, or the ability to push everything away from you. And then at the end of the year, you'd have a terrible year and you'd probably blame it on Donald Trump. I would think that's what people would do, because that's what the media is feeding you. But your brain, regardless of what's going on around the world, south of us, north of us, east of us, wherever, is there will be next year 70, 75,000 sales, 140, 150,000 sites. And if your conscious mind is focused on the negative, an easy task for the law of repelling is to push deals away from you. More than 50% of the realtors last year sold zero. That should prove my point. 52% of the realtors last year sold zero. Now you got to think, you got to know somebody. You got to know somebody when you're a realtor. More than half the realtors sold zero. That's a lot of repelling. So when you think of that saying, which is truthful, what Daryl said, if you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can. Those are, if your conscious mind is feeding positive things, and they're both true. It's not like the negative is true and the positive is wishful thinking. I did this talk the other day, and a couple people come up to me after and said, I love your positive thinking. I said, thank you, but you missed my point, because that's not what I did. Although I am that way, but that's not what I did. The truth about the market is truth. Positive, the negative is they're both true. They're both true. If you focus on the truth of the market that's positive, law of attraction. If you think you can, you can. If you focus on the negative, what's going on, your brain would not only not activate the law of attraction, it will activate the law of repelling, and everything you want in your life will be repelled away from you. To show the scale of what I'm talking about here, if you were licensed in 2021, that was the year we doubled up the sales to 121,000.
It's the highest on record.
By a lot. 121,000, almost double. Yet the percentage of people, realtors, that struggled in 2021 at 121,000 was the same percentage that struggled last year at 62,000. Because the same amount of people were involved in the law of repelling. And repelling deals away from people in that mindset is an easy task for the brain. You mentioned that if you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. It's true saying. I'm showing you the psychology of the brain as to why that's true.
So when you say repellent, and I just had sort of indirect conversation with one of my team members, and I think the world of that person, super nice person. But, you know, they were talking to a client that's a little older. They've got money. They're got some health issues, whatever. She loves talking to me. And she said, I talk to you all day long, whatever the case, because she likes my spirit, my energy.
I'm in that boat.
Right? Yeah. So the agent that I asked to look after her, somehow they repelled against each other because they were on different radiation, like going back. So like a bee can pick up things all the time, right? So what happens is you were not radiating at that same level they were, and they repelled you. So lots of times you're repelling your clients and you don't even know it. It's because of how you say something to them, how you react to somebody, how you show up with somebody, right? You know, most times, you know, energy, I put that thing out there for energy for you guys today, right? If you don't have that energy, you're going to repel them immediately. So there's many different reasons that you'll repel people. And it's not about, you got to remember, it's not about you, but it is about you. It's you that's doing the repelling or causing the repelling to you. So what actions or inactions did you do beforehand, before you picked up a phone or you went to a door or went to an appointment. How did you prepare yourself? What were your thoughts? What were you going through? Because what I see with a lot of people, they carried their troubled waters from yesterday right into today. So they don't only wreck one day, they come into wrecking the next day and
Can
the
I make
next
a comment on that?
Of course.
Yeah. The two comments on that. And then I want to hear the rest of you saying because it's interesting. The on that, on yesterday, I have a metaphor in my head that when you're driving your car, periodically you glance in the rearview mirror. But most of the time you're looking through the windshield. Anyone that's going to drive their car around town and they're going to be looking in the rearview mirror all the time is going to have an accident.
Absolutely.
100%. Also, I believe so strongly on that. One of the books I wrote, Success Explosion, which is we're all trying to have that. Yeah. Chapter 1 in that book is you need to get over things quickly. And then the truth is, if you're a person who doesn't get over things quickly, you're hurting everybody around you. Quite frankly, like from a relationship point of view, you're hurting everybody in your family. But the first chapter is get over things quickly. And then the other chapters will be required to have a success explosion. I say first, this is another principle, but this is assuming you do chapter 1. This is assuming you do chapter 1. Get over things. Like, I think I have gone on, I know I sold 1,600 and something homes, so nothing like your team, I get that. But I feel like I've been on, I don't know, like 300, 1,000 listing appointments I didn't get. I don't know how many. I mean, I'm guessing at a big number, yes. And not once have I checked that on MLS after. And we tell the clients, you want a listing appointment, you don't get it. Okay, the next time you're on in MLS, don't slide the address in and see what's going on with it. You're just holding on to something here. And then when I tell them that, they say, no, I'm just watching it in case it expires. Really? Really? How's that conversation going to go 4 months from now? Hi, do you remember me, the one you should have chose? Yeah. Like the truth is, that's just a realtor demonstrating the inability to let something go. Do you understand? So when they choose someone else, I'm like there's 65,000 realtors on the board. I was one of the 3. I feel fortunate for that. I help my son, Josh, now. Didn't get one the other day. They said we went the other way. I'm like, listen, I appreciate the opportunity, which I can sincerely say because there's 65,000. I was one of the 3.
Yes.
I was one of the 3. I appreciate it. I hope you guys sell it for a lot of money. Have an awesome day. I will never think about them again as long as I live. It is weird that it's my cousin, though. That's the way it goes sometimes. Not joking about the cousin, but more on. I will never think about them again as long as I live, and I will never check it on MLS. That's the realtor not being able to let it go. That is an anchor that will take you to the bottom of the lake. I guarantee you that. And not being able to let stuff go like that.
It's funny how he brings it up. I'm similar, but I work a little differently. That's the great thing about success. Sometimes I hear some of the realtors talking, they got to lead, 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 they got to lead. Nothing. Mosquitoes, ghosts. Where's that lead gone? They spent 3 months on one lead. So basically, they just pulled up into a big vacant Yorkdale parking lot. No cars in there, just you. And you sat there for 3 months. Guys, yes, they have a lead, but I'll tell you what, one lead doesn't create any business. How many leads does it take to get an appointment? Right? How many leads?
4 leads per deal.
Yeah, I know he was going to say that, and I want him to say that. So it takes 4 leads. So if one's not working, what do you do with the other 3? You're not even approaching.
Can I share something on that?
Yes.
On the brain? That's what we're talking about, right?
Yes, that's what I want.
So when Daryl said, yeah, here's where you are. When Daryl said about you get a lead and you just stay on that lead. So the realtor brain can only be in one of 2 zones in regard to leads. one of two mindsets. You live in one of these two. That is manage and wait, manage and wait, manage and wait, or generate and process, generate and process. And so I would have to guess that 95% are in manage and wait, manage and wait. Manage and wait is only in that mindset. You can only sell between 2 to 6 homes a year. That's it. I don't think you would say at the end of the year, it's because I was in manage and wait mindset all year. Say that. You would probably have some other reasons, the market, whatever. Daryl doesn't give me enough good leads. I don't know, whatever you make up. But if the brain is in generate and process, just you wouldn't sit in the parking lot for not if you're in generate and process is the place to be. In fact, psychologically, I know that every realtor should want to be physically magnetic to leads. Yes. Yes. Why
Guys, yes.
Are you looking? You're looking at me like cows watching a train go by. So to be physically magnetic to leads would be amazing. And the law of attraction plugs into everything. And when it comes to leads, it plugs in the faster a realtor processes leads, the more magnetic you are to leads, which also means the more you coddle leads, the less magnetic you are to leads. Coddling leads is what slows production down. Sitting in the parking lot, I thought of that when you said that. So you want to be, when I say magnetic leads, I don't mean metaphorically. I mean physically. Easy task for the brain. Get leads, process them. Get leads, process them. Get leads, process them. That would be generate and process. Holding on to those leads forever would be manage and wait, manage and wait, manage and wait, manage and wait. Managing wait is a very bad place to be as far as production is concerned.
So I had a lead that called me on one of the properties vacant. They want to get it sold. I noticed the telephone number was from Montreal. So I know that I have to come to a meeting. So I left them 3 messages. And I said, I have a meeting today. If you want to go show it today, let me know or call the office, not myself. And I can show it after 3:00. So 4:00, they reached out to Eva. And they said, okay, good, 4:00. So I said, answer back, go. But I wanted to make sure because they're from Montreal. They're only going to be here maybe 1 or 2 days, maybe 3 days. So they're one of the best buyers. So I reached out to it as soon as I could. And I left them 4 messages in less than 3 hours. Not everybody will do that. But I know the urgency, and I expressed my urgency because of that. I recognize you guys are from Montreal, and I'm going to be in a meeting. It'll be hard to get a hold of. So I'm responding. The guy yesterday I went and got the listing from, he came from Texas. We talked a week ago as a speaking thing. I was one of the speakers. I came from Mississauga and I went all the way to his place. He was in Texas. I was in the back of his driveway. And I'm talking to him on the phone, his wife and his son. They're in Texas. I'm sitting in his driveway. So I went right away that night. So he called me yesterday you're with me, Tiff, right? And so I went and I met him last night after I dropped food off and we took the listing. Did I have any doubt in my mind that I was going there just to have a chat? I took the listing. I got Eva to bring the listing thing over to the thing. She brought it at 8. What time did we come at, Eva? What time was that? Was Eva? She's probably watching this online. Anyway, so she brought it. She met me at the thing. I told her to go speak in the backyard. We talked to the clients. I had already won them previously, beating them there just with the conversation before. So how are you training yourself? How are you preparing yourself to meet someone? You said be a magnet. So was I repelling them or getting to come to me, being like they have that stuff for the flies that tracks the flies and they stick themselves to it. So I was like the little flies thing that they were just coming to me. Right. So instead of doing DocuSign, I did the old school. We wrote up all the paperwork last night. I wasn't leaving until I got that listing. So I take 92% of the listings I go on. There's a reason. The first reason is mindset. What do I put in my mind every time before I go on a listing?
Can I comment on that?
Yes.
Okay. Our clients in here would know this. So yeah, like I've listed a couple thousand. Okay. So what I'm aware of how the subconscious mind works. And if, so when I'm at a listing appointment to this day, when I fill in for Josh, I am feeding the subconscious mind positive. So as I'm presenting the listing presentation, I'm running this over in my head. Conscious mind is doing the shtick. But my brain is thinking, as I'm looking at them, that their subconscious mind is saying to them, he's your guy. He's your guy. Don't let him out without signing. If he leaves, he might not come back. You had better get him while he's here. That's what I think is happening in their brain as I'm presenting. And we tell our clients all the time, we have an 850. That's the thing you were talking about. 850 wins, little message, affirmations. And when people have a listing, so I have a listing coming up, they're going to love you. So I'm heading over to a listing when I am, and I'm thinking this the whole time, right from back in the Maxine days, back in the late 80s. I'm thinking this. I'm going to get there. They're going to love me. It's going to go amazing. I'm not going to have any issue with the commission. As I'm presenting, their subconscious mind is telling them, he's your guy. He's your guy. Sign with him right now, because if he leaves, you might not get him back. Don't let him leave. See, that's what I think is happening in their brain. Whereas I know, and then they do that. And here's the thing, everybody pay attention here. I said earlier that your subconscious mind, in 90%, it can't reason or rationalize. So when it helps you, it doesn't know it's doing that. So as I'm talking like that, my subconscious mind talking to their subconscious mind, saying positive things, it doesn't know it's helping. But if you're in my best guess is 93%. 7% of the realtors, I think, are telling the subconscious mind positive things, and then the law of attraction. And 93% law of repelling. Law of repelling, you might get 5 deals, but probably not. But you'll get 1 or 2. That's about it. And so when you're at the listing presentation or at a buyer or wherever it is, but the listing presentation, the conscious mind is doing the shtick. You can all do that. But you have to understand your subconscious mind is having another conversation with their subconscious mind. It's saying something else. It's saying whatever, I don't know what's happening there. It's saying whatever is on your mind. So if my mind is troubled and I'm doing the listing presentation, my subconscious mind is saying to their subconscious mind, we're troubled right now. The market is in trouble right now. Things are bad right now. Now, the people wouldn't be able to say back to you, we're not going to go with you because your subconscious mind is giving my subconscious mind a bad message. It's not going to say that. They're going to say things like, we haven't decided yet. We're still looking. We're not 100% sure yet. That was amazing. We're thinking about it. Stuff like that. But if I'm in that group that is thinking positive about the market, which is a truth, and my subconscious mind is on side, I'm at the presentation doing my shtick. By the way, I'm describing you. It's not your good looks. That's the side issue. So I'm doing my presentation, and my subconscious mind, because it's wired correctly, is saying to their subconscious mind, we are stroking on all cylinders right now. We're not in the market. We are the market right now. We are controlling it. You are safe with us. And everybody's subconscious mind is, psychologists call it, an unguarded place. An unguarded place. Very easy to influence, which is why hypnotists can hypnotize people. So when my subconscious mind is saying to theirs, we are the market right now. You are safe with us. Their subconscious mind says to them, we're with him. It's like it's on your side. All of you, you have to ask yourself an honest question right now based on so far today. Am I in that group, that small group that's been feeding my subconscious mind, that neutral operating system, the positive message, so it's on my side? Or have I accidentally bought into the mob mentality of negative in our country right now? Because you have, that would be the reason you're struggling.
Total. You know, when they say the leads suck, It's not the leads. It's here. Listen, I don't care if something's 2 years old. Give me a telephone number and I'll call it. And it'll be like yesterday. It doesn't matter. If they bought something, well, maybe they're not happy with what they bought. And they want to sell it already. Who knows? Right? But it's what you perceive or put into your subconscious mind that is if people can feel it. You ever go near somebody and you can't get away quick enough? It's just like you're repelling them. Seriously, you can see people when they don't want to be around you. They'll just sort of walk away. I remember I was in San Diego with James Ray. I had to do a study there. And I said, I can survive in any...
When you had to go homeless?
Yes.
I love that story.
So, I said, I can survive in any element you want to throw me into. So, there's, I don't know how many people were there, but they took my passport, took my wallet, whatever. They put all shit in my teeth, all gummy in my hair. I had the worst clothes, like they weren't even clothes. They were just rags thrown together. And then I had to go survive out on the streets of San Diego.
I totally want to do that.
And the police and I had one of the girls who was walking with me, and I could see anybody see me walking down the street. If I was on that sidewalk, they would literally cross the street because I was chasing them away. It was just like it was a scarecrow, right? So I'm thinking, okay, I have to change this persona up here. The police were even following me. They drove. Here I'm a Canadian walking in San Diego, which is ultra rich. And, they're seeing this homeless guy, like I looked a mess, and this girl. So they figured I'm up to no good. So they followed me for a little bit. I didn't give them any cause for concern, and they left. I was waiting for them. But I just kept walking, ignored them, and they went away. But eventually, New Orleans just happened, just maybe less than 6 months before that. So I basically said I'm from New Orleans. I got hit. I got washed up. I was like you before. I had everything. I lost everything, right? And before you know it, I had $2,000 in my pocket. And, so that was day one. So you can survive in any element that you're put into. You just have to change that mindset. Because if I had continued how I started, I would have been starving to death. I would have been like, friggin', okay, where am I going to sleep tonight? What am I going to eat tonight? Everything. I wouldn't have had anything. I would have had to maybe go to a shelter, right? I'm going, I'm not geared for that. That's not how I think. I'm a survivor, and I need to overcome this obstacle that's thrown at my way. And that's what they did. We went through all these training exercises to overcome all these big challenges we had. And if you really stop and think about it and create something, you can create anything you want, right? The guy that broke Bannister, when he broke that 1 mile, for years, that thing stood like for 20 years. And then when he broke it, in that same year, 19 other people broke it within the year.
That's a good story.
Right? So, and whenever I'm on stage talking, I would say, if I can do it, you can do it. And you have to train your mind. It's not, I'm going to listen to Rob for one day. I'm going to listen to Daryl one day. I'm going to listen to whoever, Brian Buffini, or I'm going to listen to Tony Robbins, whoever it is. One day, it's not going to do you any good. You need to be consistent every day. You have to be determined every day, right? You just don't, listen, you were brought up a certain way. That's in your DNA. But you can change your DNA by changing your mindset. It's being unplugged and replug it in.
Can I say a couple things?
Of course.
Two things. First of all, on that Roger Bannister story, he's the guy that broke the 4-minute mile he's talking about. So on that, that's a great point on perception. Because in the 1956, in the early 1900s, there was not books, but articles and material written on why the human body cannot travel a mile in 4 minutes. Structure, feet, bones, can't happen. But then on that day, Roger Bannister did it with a stopwatch. And that was a stopwatch. which may or may not have been accurate. And he did it in 59 minutes. The 4-minute mile, 59 minutes and 0.59. He beat it by 4/100ths of a second, which means maybe he didn't do it because that was a stopwatch. Maybe it wasn't like it was laser focused, right? But then once he did it, high school kids do it now. But once it can be done, then it's done. Keep talking. I don't remember the other thing I was going to talk about.
Yeah. So think about it, that stood for time, like for so long. And once it was accomplished, 19 times within the next year, it was accomplished and beaten. 19 times. So when you know that someone else can do it, can you do it? Guys, can you do it? See, that's what I talk about confidence. You go, and you really believe in yourself when you sound like
this? There's some magic.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So I know you all have to just think like, you hear the sayings all the time. Yes. Think you can, yeah. Yeah. Once you understand that the subconscious mind, where all the power is a neutral operating system, you have to feed it the right information. It doesn't have a preference. Like in everybody in the room here, everybody on the live stream, everybody on the planet, your equities of your life, your physical being, your business, your spiritual position, your health, your family, everything you have right now is what your subconscious mind would think you want, because it made it. So what you have right now in every aspect of your life is a photocopy of what you've been thinking the last year or two. And your future will be an echo of your current thinking today. It's a neutral operating system. There's a couple of things in the brain that are pretty magical. And one of them is gratitude versus anxiety. You know, anxiety is when you're feeling stressed, when life starts crowding in on you a little bit, you know, lots of things can cause that. But in the brain, everything lives in a spot. Things aren't floating around in your brain. There's a lot of things in the brain. So if the brain was like a subdivision, it's not. You don't have houses in your brain. Don't text me that later. How big are the houses in my brain? So, but it's like everything in the brain has a residence. It lives in a certain spot on a certain neural pathway. There's more things in your brain than there are residences. So lots of things live together. Sometimes when those things live together, they cooperate together, but not always. And what's really interesting, when I share this, people often think, is that really right? I'm gonna have to Google that and find out. You will see that it's true. Gratitude lives in the same residence with anxiety. They live together. There's the only two things live in that residence. They're on that neural pathway. But because they're opposites, they can't be active at the same time. They don't cooperate, which means your brain cannot be in a state of anxiety or stress and gratitude at the same time. It has to be one or the other. It can't be both. They both can't be active at the same time. They'll live in the same place, but one at a time. So when you feel like things are crowding in a little bit, you're talking about reprogramming your mind, yes? Sometimes life can be a bit of a full contact sport. Sometimes the business can be a bit stressful. The more sales you make, the less stress you have. You know, like we get calls all the time from realtors and they're stressed out about this deal that they can't put together. And I do say to them, like, if you had 3 deals last month, you wouldn't care about this one as much. This one means more because it's, I don't know,
the only one they have.
The one right now. So let's crowd these deals with other deals and things would matter less. Whenever you feel a little stressed or anxious, read a gratitude list. That's why you hear so many times speakers and in books and so on talk about read your gratitude list every morning. It should be 8 or 10 things that you're grateful for and write them down in your handwriting on your nightstand. Wake up in the morning, read it. That puts your brain in a state of grateful. And when you're in a state of grateful, anxiety can't exist. If you feel some anxiety, if you read your gratitude list every morning, you should know what those 8 things are. I know what mine are. And they're in your state. So you feel a little stressed, a little down, read your grateful list. That will shut that down because they live at the same place. And then that would shut that one down. It wouldn't just sort of make it smaller. It'd have to be gone. You're either in a state of grateful or in a state of anxiety. One of those two. Living in a state of grateful. That you talk about reprogramming your brain. Guys, I'm telling you, your subconscious mind is a neutral operating system. Feed it better things, and it will activate the law of attraction. If you feed it bad things, it will flip and activate the law of repelling the villain to the superhero. It doesn't prefer one over the other, and it's amazing at both. They're both equally powerful, and it's amazing at both of them. Let's imagine the law of attraction being active in your business. If the law of attraction right now is not active in your real estate business, is simply because you're not feeding your subconscious mind. It's happy to do that. It doesn't have a preference.
So, when they always say, be careful what you think about, that's basically what's going to happen. You're the driver. You've got the driver's seat, or if you don't want the driver's seat, sit in the passenger seat and someone else drive you. But you're going to get to two different destinations. Someone else is driving you. You're not going to the same destination as if you were driving you. So, I say, oh, you know what? These people are very, very tough. I don't think I can do it. They want to pay too little commission. They want the wrong price. You go through a whole list of things that now you show up there. I guarantee you 97% of the time, you're not getting the listing. Right? Because you repelled it. Remember you said about his subconscious mind? They want me, they want me, they want me. They believe in me, they believe in me. They know I can do it. But you've already fit that subconscious mind to their subconscious mind that everything is bad. There's nothing good about it. And you've just, even before you started, you repelled them. So anyone want to say that happened to them? Like, I know if I've been in a real funk, that there's a lot of shit going on, I might as well not even have went, because that'll fit in that 8% of the times I don't get the listing, because I wasn't in the right mindset. I was thinking about something that traveled me a couple hours beforehand or even on the way there. So what I might tell some of you, if you're going to an appointment, remember we used to listen to 15 minutes before, right? So Mike used to have us listen to 15 minutes.
You could have talked about my 5 minutes before. That was an option, right?
You're 5 minutes before, right?
You could have done that.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So 5 minutes before.
First of all, Mike who?
Yeah, Mike who. So he talks about 5 minutes before. So don't pick up the phone when you're driving to appointment and talking about all the crap that is there. Think of the 5 minutes before, all the positive things. Program that mindset fast, right? Because if you go in there and you're not even, like, they're talking to you, but you're not even there. And that's how a lot of you guys are with your leads or whatever the case might be. You're just making a call. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, I see that happen just recently, right? How sharp, how prepared, how are you ready to handle those people? I can be in a really down mode, but I'll tell you what, when it's showtime, you're going to drag me up off the floor. I'm going to sit up or stand up, and I'm going to be ready to go.
Let me make a comment on that. So when when you're stroking on all cylinders, when you're in the game, you feel good, you look good, you got to go there. You did a really good job and you're feeling it. That will be the time that, as your conscious mind is doing the listing presentation and your subconscious mind is talking to their subconscious mind saying, we're stroking on all cylinders right now. You're totally safe with us. That's the time that the people, they don't say to you, we're going to go with you because, your subconscious mind was kind of lightened up my subconscious mind. That's when they'd say things like, so when you hear these phrases, you can know this is what took place. Your subconscious mind was talking you out. When they say things like, we're going to go with you, you're someone that we can talk to. You're someone that listens to us. You're someone that gets us. We feel a spark off of you. You're someone that we feel like the sale is more important to you than the money. Those types of phrases, those are phrases the mouth says when the subconscious mind connected with your subconscious mind. Can I share some other magic of the brain? Maria is one of our favorite clients. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's amazing. She's like a future rock star in our company. Yeah. Actually, quickly becoming one of the faces of the franchise. She's been on the panel already. The people that are on the panel on a regular basis, people connect them to our company. So you have to stay. Okay. So, okay, good. So I think this is her favorite point, is what I'm saying. That's why I was saying. And that is wins. Wins are, you might just think that's something small, but I'm going to explain to you in the brain what wins do when you track them, which is why in our coaching program at 8:50 to 9 o'clock for 10 minutes, Monday to Friday, there's a live stream, runs every day, and starts with wins. Starts with wins. And when you track a win every day, amazing things happen in your body. There's a chemical in your brain called dopamine. Dopamine is called the feel good drug chemical, which is probably why they called it dope in the 70s.
Absolutely.
I never connected on that till not long ago. Maxine, you hear what I'm saying there? Okay. So dopamine, it makes you feel good. It makes you feel good. Dopamine. It's if you like riding roller coasters, which I do. When the kids were young, we would travel around North America just to ride specific roller coasters. And I would tell you, you will never feel more alive as you're walking off a roller coaster because you just got a gush of dopamine in your body. Every fiber of your being is on fire right now. That's a gush of dopamine. Probably want to do that on a regular basis, but dopamine does more than make you feel good. It also does something magical. It wants to connect activity with results. Think about that. It wants to connect activity with results. So when you go door knocking around a listing you take, if you have dopamine dripping in your body, it wants to connect that activity with a yes, a result. You're on an offer, it wants to be successful. And people sometimes would say when I'm teaching this, okay, dripping dopamine in my body can't make someone at the door say yes. See, if you think that, you are underestimating your brain. And when people say to you in the future, do you believe that you become what you think about? You should stop saying yes. And you should start saying, no, I don't believe that. Because you are underestimating your brain if you think that it can't create a result. That's an easy task for what we're talking about. Dopamine not only makes you feel good, it also wants to connect activity with results. It's also good in your body. It's good for your heart. It's good for dopamine is good for blood sugar level, insulin, plaque in your arteries. It's a magical chemical. It stays in your brain unless you can find ways to tap it and have it have a steady drip of dopamine into your body. And I am telling you that anybody, not just realtors, anybody that every day you track a win, one win, not a bunch. See, one only. So that way your brain has to look through the day. And when you have to sort out the one, you're thinking win more. So I had a win. Okay, so maybe I'll better win. But at nighttime, you got like, what's my win here? So you write it in a notebook, win. If a person writes a win every day, that starts a steady drip of dopamine permanently into your body, the magic drug into your body just by tracking a win. So let me tell you what I encounter a lot because I do a lot of talks. The managers and brokers are usually there meaning well, but usually not helpful. So there's always people in the room that are in a desperate situation. What has been happening from here back, the conscious mind has been feeding the neutral operating system the wrong message. And they're experiencing a law of repelling. That's all that's happening. So, and then they're in a desperate state. Yes, when you're in that state of mind, you know what you don't want to hear when you're in that state of mind from the broker manager? Just go door knocking. Just go door knocking, which is what they say every single time. And then I see the person's body language just freeze, fold up and crush. Because that's crushing dialogue to someone struggling. So I usually intervene. I go, can I have your card? And they go, sure, I'll call you later. And then I'll help you out. And then I think when they think I'm going to call them, then I'm going to give them a 10-point plan to get back on track. But I say to them, I need you to every night text me a win, one win for 30 days. For 30 days, I need you to text me a win. They go, what else? You don't understand the depth of what I'm asking you to do here. We're going to start a steady drip of dopamine into your body, which wants to create results. Yes. They're like, but I have nothing on that. Don't go door knocking. Go door knocking in about 2-3 weeks when you've got some dopamine dripping in your body for a bit. Do you understand? So then usually it's like, my win today was talking to you and learning about the wins. Okay, I get that. And then usually within 7 days or 10 days, the win is, I had a deal come out of the blue. Well, that's surprising to you, but not to me. And after 30 days, we must stop so that the steady drip of dopamine does not rely on me, so that I'm not the conduit to that they are. So after 30 days, I've stopped. But the truth is, I've done that 1,000 times over my time. And sometimes we don't even get to 30 days because they're 3 weeks in and the phone's ringing. I feel fantastic. I'm in the game. Sure, door knocking now then. So by tracking a win every day, is this your favorite point, Maria? I feel like it is, because you're like the first one to bring wins in the morning. So I am telling all of you, and you can think this can't be true. This can't be right. Google it later. You'll find out. By anyone that tracks a win every day, one win, you can only track one. That forces you to think of the greater of the wins. So you are thinking more about wins, and drip, 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 drip of the magical chemical dopamine on a regular basis into your body. It's magical, actually.
You know, it's so great that he just said that, because I was with one of the agents last week and we just sold the property. So I said, okay, let's go door knock around the area. So me, I'm pretty much ready to go anytime, any place, anywhere. It's just the attitude that I have.
Well, hold on. You have it. You have the steady drip. You just have it. I get that.
Right. And that's what I'm trying to explain by having that. So we used to journal constantly, and now I sort of got a bit out of journaling because I had books and books, but always looking for the wins, right? So anyway, hit a couple doors, and there's a guy walking with his dog, with his little girl. So started a conversation. We ended up talking, 40 minutes with him. You know, now I'm trying to get an appointment. I called him a couple times. He wasn't home, but they want to go further south. His work is downtown, and they're in a townhouse. They want something bigger. And then there's another guy walking with he had a 4-month-old dog. There's another Asian guy walking down the other side. This is a few minutes later, maybe 10 minutes later. I walk over the other side, start a conversation with him, get his number, and now he's gonna downsize. So one's upsizing, one's downsizing. And he had an 11-year-old dog. But see, the dopamine was there, because most people won't go approach people on the street. I talk to everybody, but you guys are with me anywhere, any place. I talk to everybody. That's just my natural dopamine nature. So, that's why I tell you, wear your little badges, right? It opens up conversations. Tiffany was with me last night when they went into Costco to get some things. Some people I try to talk to, they just like this. Other people ready to talk forever, right? So, in the restaurant, that Italian guy, we were going to talk for 20 minutes, no problem, right? Super nice guy having his lunch or whatever that was, 3:30. But it's all how you bring it to them, how you feel. Listen, when you feeling good, you're going to spread that with everybody. So having that journal of your wins, you look at the Toronto Blue Jays. They were, I don't know how many games out.
6.5.
And since August, they've stepped it up. But they since August, what's their record? They're 9-5.
I think they're like 10-15 or 11-15. I'm back in again. I'm back in.
They're half a game out right now.
One game.
So their mindset has changed a bit. They traded a couple of their best players. They got a couple other younger players, and then they got some injured players. But somewhere they got that dopamine, that how they went all the way to the World Series last year. And they've got that going again right now. So you can see if you watch them, the confidence in, your number 9 hitter, which is your number 9 hitter. It's not so good. The guy come up and had a couple big hits there with the Yankees and stuff like that. They're your supposed leader. He's hurt right now. He's on a 7-day disabled list, but they're still out there pushing it out there. So when someone's down as a team and as a unit, you got to pick each other up. You got to support each other and carry it through. We're all going to have rough times, but the rough times make them smaller. Like squeeze them tighter. Let the good times just keep spreading. You see certain agents on the team, they go on sprouts. They'll go, then they just go in a lull because they need to rest, recharge, get their dopamine back up, and then they go again. So what is it that triggers you? What makes you go? What makes you stop? Right? Fear is a major problem, right? So we know that everybody has an imaginary fear. Well, I can't do it. I'm not good enough. I never did this before. They're going to reject me. So it's that self-talk that you create within yourself.
Can I comment on that?
Yes.
Yes. First book I wrote is called The Grass is Greener on This Side of the Fence. Not that you should stay on this side of the fence, but in life, it's connected to fear. It's one of the chapters. Look at that. In life, if you cannot attain contentment with where you are, you can't go anywhere. Content and complacent are different. So we're all pretty blessed, yes? So while your gratitude list will bring that to your mind. But anyone that hates their life is never going anywhere. So the point of that book I wrote is to grass green on this side of the fence. If you got to get square here, content before you can go further. One of the chapters is called A Scarecrow Never Harmed a Crow. And fear is an interesting thing in that when you are fearful, it releases a chemical into your body that's paralyzing. But your brain doesn't recognize real fear with artificial fear. It just releases the same chemical. So I don't like going in the ocean because a shark's going to eat me, for sure. So I don't like sharks. And when we go to the Caribbean and I'm like close to the shore and I tell people I'm not going out there, the shark's going to eat me for sure. So people say, well, sharks attacks happen within 10 feet of shore. Not helpful information for me. Thank you. So just if I'm in a boat and it capsizes and there's sharks in the area and you should be fearful, and your brain will release chemical. But if you are going to go door knocking and that makes you fearful, the brain releases the same chemical. But that fear is different fear. That's an acronym for false evidence appearing real, but not real. That's just imaginary in your brain. I mean, you're not going to get shot at the door knocking. We coach clients in Detroit like that. They might get shot. They might get shot in Detroit, but
like this part here, you shouldn't get shot.
So you're probably not going to get shot. So should I say that? You're probably not going to get shot. Yeah. Okay. So if you think about where they put scarecrows, they put them in vegetable patches, which is where the food for the crow is. But the crow is afraid of the scarecrow. So he flies around and then flies away from the scarecrow. And then people might think, well, the crows aren't, the sharpest tools in the shed. Maybe not. But you would have to ask yourself an honest question that where do you have scarecrows erected in your life? Think about that. Like, where do you have that in your life, in your business, scarecrows? They're not real. They're just real to you. Like calling your entire database every 90 days and give market update like every coach on the planet says to do. You maybe say, well, I feel like I'm bugging them or begging for business, or I don't know that many people, or everyone I know knows 50 realtors, whatever weak story you make up. That means you would be a realtor with a scarecrow erected in regard to your database. Don't be hard on the crows. Or I'm too nervous to go door knocking around the open house when I'm doing, or my new listing I took, or to call my leads as often as I should call them. Little things everywhere. So those are all false evidence appearing real. They're not real. But your brain will release that same chemical. So, I mean, a realtor might drive up to a street because I'm going to go door knock it. And then you sit in the car nervous. So you sit there for 5 or 10 minutes and then you think, you know what I should do? I should go back to the office, make a flyer, have the flyer delivered, and then next week I'll follow up the flyer. That's a way better idea. That's the decision you would have made because of fear. Yes. That would be false evidence appearing real. Same chemical in the brain, though. Same paralyzing. The false ones, you should recognize them and get over them. It would be sad for a realtor to have a 20, 30, 40-year career and never get rid of that scarecrow about their database. That'd be the worst place to have a scarecrow. Thinking that you're calling them, bugging them, begging for business. If I went around the room here and asked every realtor, like every talk I do, a couple hundred a year, and asked where most business comes from, database, referral, database, referral. That's where every realtor gets most of their business from. If you would just call them every 90 days and get over your little apprehension of that scarecrow, your business would explode. But that would be putting better information into the operating system. Yeah.
I love my database. I love my past clients. They love me. So, we had the testimonial from my good friend Peter yesterday. And, there's nothing nicer than having a testimonial and seeing your past clients. I've known his brother before him, but I've known him 20 years. So that's how you build complacency, by not getting a hold of them. And they don't get a hold of you, but you need to get a hold of them. So get out of your complacency, right? Every day, I would say the biggest failure for most realtors or anybody in business is complacency, because they don't want to step out of their comfort zone. That comfort zone is, 52% of the agents are not doing anything. I'll just stick, or 60% of those agents are not doing it. I think I'll just stick with that crowd because it's an easier crowd to hang around with. There's no expectations. There's nothing to reach out for. There's no awards to win. There's no achievements to a thing. There's nothing I have to work out and make my win that day. I just say, I had a nice day. I got up at high noon or got out of bed at 11, went on the phone for a little bit. I had a little breakfast. And then I went to the office for an hour and talked to a few people. Then I went to the beach and met a couple of people. We had a drink. And then I went home for dinner to see the family. It was a good day. Right? How was your day? Similar, right? So that's just being in that sheep mentality mode, right? And I'll tell you, the sheep mentality mode gets you nowhere. If you see a lot of the things I post and stuff like that, it'll be with that eagle. Because when the eagle, there's a storm or anything problem, or the crow gets on the eagle's back and he starts pecking on the eagle. And the eagle doesn't look back. He doesn't try and shake him off. He doesn't do anything. And the crow just keeps turning to peck on the back of his head. Now, for anybody else, I would know you. So all the eagle does, he just spreads out his wings further and he just soars. He just keeps going up and up and up and up and up. And the crow is not used to those heights. He can't breathe in that elevation. He starts to, and eventually he falls off. The eagle doesn't even look back when he falls off. He just keeps going up and gliding forward. So that little crow thought he was causing all that shit. Just he went up and he went to his death because he was disturbing somebody that he couldn't disturb. He trying to get in his kitchen. He didn't allow him in the kitchen. So the ship doesn't sink of the water that's inside. It's of the water that's outside that will cause the ship to sink. So what are you allowing into your brain to sink your ship, right? That's what you have to think of every single day. What are you allowing into your brain? What's all the water? You need to be like the dike and plug all those holes up. Keep that water outside.
Can I make a comment on that?
Yes.
Okay. So you haven't asked me a question yet. You know that, right? That's okay.
Yeah. You just keep we're coming to our time.
Okay.
So we're going to give the people a couple questions.
So on what he was talking there about your brain and protecting it, if I went to Maria's house today and knocked on her door, she would look through the peephole and think, that is weird, Rob's here. But she would let me in. And so if I went into her house with a garbage can of rotting compost and threw it down all over her beautiful furniture, threw the bucket down and left, I think she'd be very angry and clean that up very fast. We're talking coffee grinds, banana peels, kind of stuff, right? The next day, I knock on her door and she looks through the people and sees Rob. I don't think she's letting me in again. But we let people do that in our brains all day long. We do that mostly out of polite people that are venting and throwing venom around negative things, and you're just trying to be polite. But remember that story I just shared with you when after a couple lines in and go, oh, I'd love to chat, but I can't. Don't let people throw negative things in your brain every day just because you're a polite person. People that say to me, well, I'm that person everybody wants to talk to. No, you're the one making yourself available. That's what you are. You're not just the person everybody wants to share all their problems with. You're the person making yourself available to that. That's what you are. You have to protect your brain.
At all costs, guys.
Do that.
There's nothing more that he can tell you or I can tell you. But you need to protect what goes into your brain and your thoughts every single day, because that's going to be your success or your failure. So you need to make sure that you put a vault around your brain to keep all that negative energy. Look at, I wear 2 of these right now. That's Eye of the Tiger for clarity and focus, because I don't need all the negative shit coming to me, and I'll hear it all the time, but I don't want to listen to it all the time. So think of what you want to feed. So every morning you guys see my post. It could be 3 o'clock in the morning. It might be 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm listening and reading something positive, inspiring that I can share. So that's what you want to be looking for, something that you can share and give out to the world, right? Remember that video we seen? We seen the SEAL commander, the general, 5-star general, talks about making your bed in that. But he's just talking, if you can touch one person's life every day, it'll just carry forth. So amazing. So I want to thank Rob for being like, sometimes I'll do all talking, sometimes he'll do all talking, but no matter what, there's energy and positivity going out there. And listen, it is such an inspiration to have him here sitting beside me, sharing his wealth, his knowledge, and his love, because he loves what he does. He truly, you look at his family, it's a family-loved business, and that's what they portray. Like if you're around them, I love hanging out with their family whenever I see them, like the whole family. Right now he's got the 2 grandchildren. So welcome to them, right? So it's such an inspiration that it's just like you just want to be there. That's how you want to be with everybody, that they want to bring you into their life and feel welcoming. Because I'll tell you what, you will become unstoppable. And I'll tell you what, you'll have that love dope just flowing through the air, right? And it's such a better sensation than going around like just, I hate this fucking business. I don't want to be in this fucking business. I hate these people. They're so no good. And trust me.
Can I make a couple of things for you?
Of course.
Yes. So something on that too. The on that what he just said about the thing. So, but I do want to offer your listeners and people a discount on my coaching. Oh, nice. So, but what you just said about the grumpy thing there, I think you should think like this. Like everybody in life, your life, not so much your business, but your life is one big climb up a mountain. One big climb. Okay. You get to the top of the mountain, then I hope you enjoyed that big climb up the mountain. So you can climb up the mountain, humming along, whistling, singing a tune, and you can checking out, spend time at all the scenic lookouts, or you can grumble the whole time about the climb. So that's, unfortunately, if you guys want to see a whole bunch of people grumbling about the climb, next July, come to my family reunion and I will introduce you to those people. So also, I just wanted to say before we take some questions, we're talking about the brain today, psychological, but it's in everything. You need to learn it in everything. And I'll just, without teaching it, for example, you probably should do a lot of open houses right now because the market, we're on the runway to back. So every single person that walks up the door to your open house, before they walk in, they activate a mechanism called everyone defending from no one who's attacking. That mechanism is active. You need to get 2 or 3 thumbs up from their subconscious mind to melt it away. Otherwise, they'll lie to you the whole time, put the wrong number down. You have to understand how that works. You have to know that when you go on a listing appointment, every seller has 6 questions psychologically. You answer all 6, they want to sign with you. Their brain wants to sign with you. If you don't answer all 6, they will compliment you, followed by, we'd like to think about it. That was awesome. We'd like to think about it. That was amazing. We'd like to think about it. You were incredible. We'd like to think about it. If you get that a lot, it means you didn't answer all the 6 questions. Every buyer has a thing happening in their brain when they're buying. And if you don't know how to deal with that, you're going to cause them to panic a bit, which is why we have a saying, buyers are liars. Because the realtor did not know how to handle that buyer and you stress them out. They got away from you. They bought from somebody else. You get mad. We say buyers are liars. You have to understand their psychology in working with buyers. There is a piece of psychology in every single aspect. And you get a new lead and you want to pre-qualify them. They cannot give you any information unless you give them something. You must give something and then take something. If you try to take something, you get a sign call. We saw you, we have that listing there. We're thinking of moving. And you say, well, where would you move to? You'd be asking for something without giving something. They would automatically say, no, I just want to know the price. I can't talk right now. I got to speak to my husband. I got to speak to my wife. Every little aspect of the real estate industry has a psychology component connected to it. You must learn how to control those so that you can be in control. And when we started back in the day, the knowledge of the public was down here. So we just didn't use much psychology, but they keep getting smarter and you have to stay ahead of them. Our coaching program is 80% psychology. I do a live stream every Monday with all the clients on a topic: listing presentation, working with buyers, pre-qualifying, pricing. And then I'm really just saying, what is all the psychology connected to that? You must learn all of the current psychology. Just before we take questions, our ultimate coaching program is $299. We're going to offer it for $199 to the Daryl King world. That would be in his team and people in Daryl King world. Anybody sends their contract in or online, or you guys, you just got to write Daryl King on there. Daryl King world now gets a discount. If anyone in the room is in that program and you're currently paying $299, you're practically adjusted to $199.
Wow. I think there's 5 of them in this room right now that are there.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Oh, yeah. Al, right?
Big Al over
Al,
there.
yeah. The guy's brand new and he's jumping all over the thing in the morning, speaking up and asking questions. Yeah. Are you $299, Al?
Al, are you $299?
Okay, no, you're good then. You're good, Al. Yeah.
You got in the Daryl King program. Good.
All right.
Anyway, guys, so what he talked about open houses. When I did an open house, I literally went from doing an open house, and we didn't have the phones and the computers. We just had the little yellow books. I would leave from my open house and I'd go to their house. How do you win them over in such a short period of time? I just met you at the open house, never knew you. But meanwhile, you're having me over to come and list your house. Is that a positive mindset? Sort of that dopamine that you're talking about? Absolutely. Right? So you guys, if you're getting wrong numbers, wrong emails, you're not putting the right energy out there.
Can I say something here? You guys do a lot of open houses, yes?
Yes.
Okay, listen to me. When people enter your open house, they click into a state as they reach for the doorknob called everyone defending from known as attacking. And their comfort zone's a bit larger. So when a psychologist explains this, they always do this with their hands. Everyone's defending from known as attacking. If you get too close to them, you'll cause them to do this, and then you'll cause them to lie. Well, you'd cause them to defend, but that would also be lying. And so the logical thing for them to say is, we already have a realtor. We already have a realtor.
They all say that.
But that's the logical thing to say if you force them to do that. So make sure you stay. All you have to get is 2 or 3 attaboys from their subconscious mind to dissolve it. It's called a minor safety mechanism. Minor. Doesn't take much. But if you butt up against it, you just don't ask them any direct questions and don't get too close to them for about maybe 3 or 4 minutes, and then we'll dissolve the everyone defending even no one was attacking. Otherwise, if you butt up against it, you're going to put them on what psychologists call the lie train. We have a realtor, wrong number, and lie to you for the next 12 minutes. So be careful about the everyone defending. We teach a very simple system on how to disable it.
So use kids or animals, for instance, right? I go over to Candace's house. Sometimes the kids are all over and sometimes they're a little stand back. You got to give them their space. And afterwards, they're all over you, right? Same as animals. So everybody says, oh, that dog or that child will never come to you. God, well, I laugh at that because I know for damn well they'll be all over me. By the time I'm leaving, that dog or that child will be all over me. And it's because I already program an adherence, how they sense. But you can't just, if a child just wakes up and you can't just go grab it and doesn't know you, it's going to start screaming and crying automatically. So when somebody ever came to my open houses, I always greet them with a big handshake. Hey, thanks for showing up here. Great. So amazing. I'd be very humble and happy that they showed up. And listen, like I said, at one time, my open houses was my business. Like listing, leads, everything, just boom, boom, boom. So that's why I'm in shock when you guys don't reach out and sign up for them immediately. And, you know, that's why I say be better prepared, because if you're prepared, you're not going to throw off that repelling energy. You need to have that energy that they're just coming to you. But I want to thank Rob, Pauline, for coming with him and getting him here, because without him, he might not have got here. Right? Do you have time for one or two questions?
Yeah, we brought her Mustang, so
You're good.
Yeah.
So anyone have a question that's online or here in person? You guys should always come. One thing I'm going to teach you, and he'll teach you the same thing. Always be coming and asking of questions.
There's a question over here.
Come up here, Saj. So she's our sales manager.
First of all, I am full of dopamine right now. I can even run 20 kilometers.
I can see that, actually.
It shows you in your face, you know that.
Yeah.
Yes, honestly, I live.
Go that way. Show that your face of that.
Every word that he said, you guys that know me, I live by them. First of all, it was very cute that every second you were looking at Colleen and you were blinking at her. That was.
I'm trying to wink. Did I not land the wink? I was trying to wink.
Hey, just 3 years.
I wink better with this side, but on that side. So Daryl, like, see to me?
Yeah.
Better on this side.
And I always tell the agents that there is more to real estate than just how many houses, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms. There's always a psychology. There's always a mindset. But as a coach, I'm sure you come across the agents that they're always down because of everything that is happening, which I don't want to get into it because it's negative. How do you handle that with your agent?
That is a really good question. And a mistake would actually be in your position to try to fix them. The easiest thing by a country mile is have them send you a win. So just say, tonight you need to text me a win, right? One win, because that is an amazing thing. And when I get those calls, 20,000 realtors have my contact information. It's rarely clients reaching out. So the easy thing is you would try to rebuild them, but that would be a mistake. I need you to send me a win for 30 days. And you would see that on day 10 or 12, something comes out of the blue. The dopamine connected something, right? So I got a call from these people. We got your name from Bill and Betty. They said, you're the best realtor. We want to list our house. So really, when people are out of sorts, feeding the wrong thing to the subconscious mind, a win fixes that. Because a win shifts their mind over to the positive side. That's it.
Got it.
Well, very similar.
Okay,
A win
so
is very
you
similar.
are right. You could name 10 things that would be helpful. But I'm just saying, to help a realtor, a win would, for 30 days, a win that would change their life around. After that, you should start journaling or writing your gratitude list or whatever every morning. But the win is one of the most powerful things because it creates that drip of dopamine. If you could share it with everybody, that would be amazing, but you can't because it's all in you, but you have a lot. You are not wrong. So it's all over you, but it's your quadruply expressive personality style. That's what's doing that. Yes. But the answer to your question is, if you're out of sorts, someone's coming to you because they're out of sorts, if you just track a win every day, it will fix that. Should you later add things after you fix it? Of course. But if you would know from your position, you give people a bunch of things to do, they don't do them. And there's no improvement. So one thing, win. It's way more powerful than people give it credit for. And then people say, well, how long would you do it for? Well, I don't think I would have to oversell you folks on I've had some success in my life. I still do it. Why would I not do it? I will keep growing until my heart stops. Sit. Running up the mountain, humming and singing. Just having fun in life, yes? I mean, you guys got to be jacked up about it. It's getting a little chilly out there now, and the musk is going to start getting active pretty soon. You guys must be jacked up about that, yes? No, probably not.
I'll give you a very, very great example. So we have some very close friends. We love to golf, and my buddy Mark is, Mr. Sports Guy, whatever. He has this beautiful Gore-Tex outfit on. We're up at Taboo. My buddy's the manager up there. He got us a nice shallow place that the four of us could stay there. So it's in later fall, and I just got shorts and a t-shirt, and the biggest storm came down. Like, you can't even imagine. It was so cold. It was almost hailing out there. And I'm just like singing in the rain. And I was actually singing in the rain because we're up there for 4 days. We're out there to golf and have some fun cards and all the things that we do. And, so my mindset is this rain is not going to disturb my paradise. I'm off work for 4 days. I'm here with four of my very best friends, and we're going to enjoy this no matter what the weather is. He's in this Gore-Tex outfit that cost me, I don't know how much, $500, $600, got the hat on. And I'm just little shorts and t-shirt, not even bothered. I had the best golf score. He lost money. And it's always been that way with us, because he's looking for the negative versus the positive. So it's what you see and what you feel that you put out there. So it's important that you go forward with, so everybody's going to bitch at you and someone's going to be happy. Remember, he said it's 50-50. So they ride together. So shut them out or shut them in, right?
Wins.
So what's your win for
After
the day?
that, journaling and then morning schedule. But if you put too much, nothing gets done. The wins is the most important thing.
Minimize.
One thing for 30 days. After you're maybe halfway, day 17, 18, you'll see things happening and start talking about something else. But not a big plan in the beginning. You know you've been past it. Doesn't get done. The win they can do, yes? That takes some root first and then add something else.
Good question. Someone else? Got time probably for one more. No one? Okay, come.
Hi, Rob. My name is Shavana. I know in the very beginning, you kind of just mentioned the word risk just once, but I'm curious. You mentioned the word risk.
Risk.
Just once.
That's a great board game. You ever play that? Risk.
Of course.
But I'm
old enough to play Risk.
I'm curious.
It's a board game.
No.
I play board games. What is maybe one risk you took in your career that led you, like, that was really worth it?
Yeah.
Because,
so that's really,
there's a lot of things that we can choose from. Okay. There's risks out there.
Got your question.
Yeah.
So the answer would be everything, because Daryl has been this way the entire time. He was born this way. Okay. I wasn't. So as a teenager, I was very shy. And so everything that we built would be, destroying that scarecrow and that scarecrow, talking to people. And I was very shy as a younger person. And so all of the things that I did were all pushing the comfort zone. When you push at the comfort zone, it's a circle around you. Push at it here, push out a foot, the whole thing's a foot bigger. So I would say, my comfort zone was very tight when I was younger, but I would say right now, Earth is inside my comfort zone. So there's not, if I'm going to speak at a conference now, I remember I booked that first talk in 1996 in Cambridge at the Holiday Inn. I booked it 30 days out. When I hung up the phone, I almost fainted because I'd be in front of people. But now, that Earth is inside my comfort zone. If I'm speaking at a conference and the CEO is introducing me, I'm talking to somebody else about musky fishing. I'm like, really? Are you using the big blades? Or are you using the, and then he goes, ladies and gentlemen, Vivian, I got to go and go calm. But one risk, everything was a risk for me initially. Door knocking, my database, lead follow up, closing for the signature. Everything was a risk. A lot of scarecrows in the past. Got over them. And I'm honored that you thought I might have one. I think there's a lot of people in the room like me.
But you think of it, his persona is now speaking, right? Being in front of audiences. I remember before we used to go see Mike together and stuff like that. He would never do that.
What's
Then
that name again?
Doesn't matter. He came from something. So he taught us, and now you became your own person, right? You
Yes.
stepped out of the box.
So everything is the answer to your question.
Yes.
Everything that was important to do. But I also did understand about the scarecrow and that those scarecrows were not real. They were imagined by me. So I just took them down one at a time.
And you're still taking him down. He doesn't
No,
stop,
the whole world's inside now.
right?
No, I got them all. I got them all now. The whole world's inside my comfort zone. I mean, I could skydive today if you guys were going. Everything's inside my comfort zone now.
See, that's how far he's come. Lots of scarecrows out there.
We're talking
And
40
just-
something years.
Just taking them down one at a time, sometimes multiple times, right? Remember, if he can overcome it, you can overcome it. So here's a question from someone.
100%.
Good question, by the way. Risk. You have to take risks. You have to have failures every day, guys. Every single day, look for a failure. You don't have a failure, you're not succeeding. It's impossible. Remember I told you? The biggest triumph is the highest pillar that you had to climb. Because if it just came easy, everybody would do it, right? So what is that one thing, or two things, or three things, or four things that you triumphed and you succeeded it? Everybody's got a different story, but it's your story, and that's what's most important. It's about you. So here's something that's a good question here. If you're a positive, knowledgeable, informative realtor, yet people choose to ignore what facts, charts you present them because they are surrounded by too many negative people that they choose to believe the negativity over you and the facts. How could you overcome this? So I'll let him answer first and I'll answer this.
So interesting that you sent me 10 questions, didn't ask me any of them, and asked me one you didn't send me. That is awesome. That's the Daryl King podcast. It's like last night, here's 10 questions I'm not going to ask. This should throw you off. Like the thing is with me, like on that, like I hope you didn't think I was being egotistical when I said that when I go on a listing appointment, which could be where all these things are happening, I have one mindset and one mindset only. I believe they're going to choose me and have no problem with the commission. That's what I think is going to happen. So on my way over there, I already know the probable outcome. All I got to do now is eliminate 6 questions so that they can sign. And the whole time I'm presenting, I'm thinking that their subconscious mind is saying to them, he's your guy, sign now, don't let him leave. Like as I'm presenting, I'm thinking that they're thinking that. And so when they say to me, well, the other guy says this, or is it all that stuff? I'm like, that's awesome. I just go there thinking this, they're going to love me. As soon as they meet me, they don't know it yet, but I'm their answer. As soon as they meet me, they're going to love me. They're going to want me, and they're going to have no issue with the commission. And that's it. So I don't let any of that play into my head whatsoever. I just go. And here's the thing on this. When you think like that, there's a saying that you become what you think about. But that's actually not a complete statement. It's you become what you think about most of the time. Most of the time. So in my career to now, when I go for Josh, I've been on, 3,000 listing appointments, something like that. I don't know, maybe more. Hard to know. So 80% of the time, they choose me. Less than yours. But it's not like, even though all of them, I'm thinking the same thing, but it's not like the 20%, the force wasn't strong with them that day, or law of attraction wasn't clicking on all cylinders. It's you become what you think about most of the time. So if I think, regardless of all those, there's always the case. I think they're going to love me. They're going to choose me. They're going to pay full commission. It's going to be great. Then I would get that most of the time. And if you don't believe that that would work for you, then when people say to you, do you believe you become what you think about, you should stop saying yes. And you should start saying no. But realtors overwhelmingly say yes. So I get the way I expect it to go most of the time. So I don't even give that any credence whatsoever.
You know, so this question, great answer, by the way. So the great part about this question, if you're a positive, knowledgeable, and informative realtor, yet people choose to ignore what facts and charts you present them because they're surrounded by too negative people that they choose to believe the negativity over you and the facts. How can you overcome this? Guys, this is to me a no-brainer because it's an oxymoron. How can I be positive and inspiring and inspirational and I have to worry about what negative people are saying to these people? I'm going to ask them one thing. Listen, I'm honored and I'm privileged to be out here tonight. I'm glad, I'm one of those 3 realtors out of the 65 or 70,000 realtors, because you must think very highly of us. Well, we think highly of you that you invite us. Unfortunately, I'm not going to tell you a bunch of BS. So if you're willing to listen to the truth about what's happening, I'd be happy to tell you the truth. If you want me to tell you stories like all the other realtors out there, negative people, I'm not going to do that. So the choice is yours. What would you like to do? What do you think they're going to say? Just for 1 second. They're going to tell you they want the truth. They want the honest truth. No, you can't handle the truth.
I love that movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie. But guys, so this is just, again, what you're putting in your persona again, even before you get out there. Because if that's in your persona before you even get there, you've already lost the battle. I would never think that. I believe that they had me there for a reason.
100%.
Only one reason. They want to list with us. They want to sell with us. They want to hire us. That's it. I don't have anything else out there. So if I have that belief every time, why do I take 92% of the listings I go on?
100%.
The other 8% is 4% I don't want them. And the other 4% I couldn't give it away because they want it to be for free, right? So don't worry about those ones. You can't win 100%. Don't try and win 100%. Win the biggest percentage. And if you say, oh yeah, I'm getting 100%, then you're not going to enough appointments.
100%.
Right? You need failures. But the one thing that I do, I analyze every appointment that I go on. I even had a full questionnaire that I have. I need to bring it back out again. But I would say, how was my presentation? How did I entertain you today? How did you like the way I presented the facts? Right? I have like 10 questions. So I might have lost it. I won that, gone through that, and then they sign up with me anyway. Because I got to think about it, I got to wait on it. But I don't normally leave until I have the listing. So why am I there? Why are you there? Why are you someone's door? You're there to help them. It's not about you. Always think about what you can do for them. It's everything we do is all about them, period. So I want to thank Rob because listen, I can't see him enough. Right. So to sit here beside him and get spend an hour and a half just having a little fireside chat is amazing. Right. I hope you guys appreciate it and liked it, enjoyed it. Anyone online, thank you very much. Listen, our time is the most valuable, but where you spend that time, remember about the negativity with the water getting in the ship. This is the water you want to allow into the ship. This is the positive energy you want to get in there. So Rob, I want to thank you. I want to thank everybody for being here. Till next time, God bless. This is Daryl King. We're sharing the mindsets.